This is a water pick. Take a piece of modern technology, open it up, and take everything out. Screws, rubber bits, plastics, everything. At this point, almost every single one of these things is made in China. Almost every piece of technology you own will say made in China on the back. To Americans, this isn't something we generally think about, unless the product is unreasonably terrible. Just think. Every single one of these pieces had to be modeled, fine-tuned, fabricated, integrated, and put together. Americans are so far away from the manufacturing of products that they are completely detached from it and don't even know what it's actually like. And it's a pretty incredible process. Now let me introduce you to Moorestar. He's one of the reasons this video was even possible. After an introduction from a mutual friend, he showed me this. This was the first time I saw the difluid refractometer. The only time I'd ever used a refractometer in the past was with this thing, which I'd used to test the sugar levels when I was starting a successfully unsuccessful kombucha business. This refractometer was about $150. It charges via proprietary cable, and it's only able to resolve about 0.1% in detail. Nothing special, it did what it needed to, and I didn't really think twice about it. But when Moorestar put the difluid down on the table in front of me, I wished I could go back in time and return mine. When I bought this refractometer, I spent a lot of time online looking for something current, and I didn't find it. It really felt like this technology was invented 30 years ago, and then nobody bothered updating after that.
Anyone that makes a product that is not USB-C at this point is pro-environmental destruction. Decided. I don't need more of these things. Stop sending them! The difluid was one of those situations where the Internet of Things was used in a productive way.
Unlike this Bluetooth brush. No, I mean this Bluetooth toothbrush. Bonk. No, I mean this blue Bluetooth toothbrush.
This was also my first time being given a $150 item for free because of my YouTube channel, so progress. If you've been a subscriber of mine for long enough, you've seen Taobao Trash, a series where I found the most hilariously poor translations and terrible products and made fun of them. I was always under the impression that this was just extremely poor attention to detail and care in the product. But after working for difluid, I got to see what happens from the inside. The problem comes from scam companies like these. They take advantage of companies by offering translation services while being incompetent. They'll translate your marketing materials, website, and packaging and then charge by the word. Then they proceed to use Baidu Translate and provide an absolute garbage translation and then take your money. Yeah, Baidu Translate. Not Google Translate, not DeepL, Baidu. The website that provides translations such as,
Knight, put your horse here. One of the biggest issues is that Chinese is a very abstract language. One unique language feature is the use of 4-character idioms to express a deeper meaning. These idioms can be used as normal words in a sentence, and are used very effectively in advertising. But translating them just isn't possible. It needs to be approximated with new marketing language. Very large corporations like Apple with talented linguists are really good at this. But coming from a new company, it's extremely difficult. So when I saw the word waterproof translated as flushable, I knew I needed to step in. A well-made, genuinely useful product was damaging its reputation with English translated by a scammer. If you gave me this marketing material and said, hey, can you translate this to Chinese, and I gave you this, how do you know if it's correct? You're gonna trust me because I'm the translator. My first day at the office, I met the team behind it all. This is also when I saw the first designs of what would later become the brew control system. For weeks, we worked on choosing colors, styles, textures, user interface, decisions about what to include and what not to include in the box, and I made sure to push as hard as I could for the environment. The first time I used one of these things, I felt like a scientist. The second time, I started to wonder why I didn't just use a spoon. There's something a lot more appetizing about using a spoon in your hot drink than a plastic piece of lab equipment. Little details that people never even think twice about, in fact, they don't even think once about it, become a huge deal. You ever wonder what happens if you don't print made in country on the back? You can't import it anywhere. So you need to decide the location, the font. How about the model number, serial number? These little symbols here, they all have to be designed and printed.
Oh, but wait, this QR code is different on every unit, but the rest remains the same, so you gotta make sure there's a blank spot in exactly this space so that it can be printed later. Oh, and how about the product manual? Someone has to write that. And what's the box made out of?
Paper packaging.
How do the contents fit into the box? There's a lot to think about. Well, once all that's settled and things start to come out of the machines, seeing everything come together is magical.
If you find any mistakes in the English part, I approved of it, so come find me. And there it is, R2 Extract.
We lost something when manufacturing left America.
R2 Extract.
And it's not just about the jobs or the reliance on foreign countries, but the idea that you can make something.
R2 Extract. R2 Extract.
Seeing everything come together made me realize that if you have a good idea, you can get it made.
You don't know how many iterations of this thing we went through to make sure it was perfect.
I grew up feeling like that's just something that's not within my grasp. Like, manufacturing is something large corporations do, not something that any individual with an idea can get done.
So this is a block of plastic. A block of the plastic that would become R2 Extract.
I didn't even know where to begin.
This was one of the first prints that came out of the mold.
But when you live in an area where all the right people with all the right experience live in the same area and you can build a team and get something done,
you can see how this one is much shinier, whereas one of the later versions has a much more of a matte finish.
Before long, you have a product that you can hold in your hand and be proud of and actually use. That's pretty cool. Being able to take your idea to the factory and have them produce a sample without having to ship it across the world.
It takes a long time to get the texture right.
It rapidly speeds up the creation process and gets rid of a lot of unnecessary waste in the process.
This is made with skill. This was to test and see if the color was right.
However, this by no means means that I will not continue to make fun of any deserving products that I find on Taobao.